When you launch Cakewalk for the first time, you're going to get this Let's Get Started box where it gives you some options. For example, I can go to recent projects or I can go to a new project and choose from some default templates. But before doing into that, let's make sure that our audio device and MIDI devices are set up. So I'm going to close this down. I'm going to go to the edit menu and then to preferences. Over here, it's going to show any devices that it recognizes or detects on your system. For example, I've got my Behringer UMC 404 HD setup, and you can choose your inputs and your outputs that you want to use with Cakewalk. But before doing that, you want to jump to the playback and recording and choose your driver mode. The best option is to go for SEO. My side, I have to use MME because I'm using specific screencasting software and I have to use this option. But what you want to go for is SEO if you've got SEO drivers for your audio device. If you don't, you can also use SEO for all. Or another option is to use this Windows ASAPio exclusive over here as well. This is not going to be as good as SEO, but it is an option if you do have some errors coming up when you try use SEO as a driver. So I've set up the correct driver that I need. Then what you need to do is go back to devices and just make sure that you've ticked the correct inputs and outputs that you want to use. For example, maybe I'm only going to be using input 1 and 2, then I can untick these. But then you're not going to see this in Cakewalk when you go for inputs. So just make sure that you've got the correct inputs chosen that you want to use. The same as the outputs. If you've got multiple outputs on your device, then just make sure that you choose the output devices that you want to use. For example, I don't need to use my built-in output. I'm going to take that out, and I don't use output 3 or 4 or this option here. So I'm only using this output device over here, which is going out to output 1 and 2, which is going to my studio monitors. So I've set up everything correctly there. You can click apply to apply any changes that you've done. And as well, I just want to make sure that I've set up the correct MIDI devices. So going back to the preferences, if I go to MIDI devices, I can choose what MIDI devices that are connected to my system that I want to use. So I've got a Novation launch key. I've ticked that. If I wanted to use other options, for example, I've got MIDI on my audio device. Maybe I've got an external keyboard plugged into that by MIDI. I could select that as well. And this is going to be inputting MIDI data. So I'm going to be playing on my MIDI controller keyboard, and it's going to input MIDI note data into Cakewalk. If you want to use MIDI outputs, then you can select these options as well. Maybe you want to send MIDI out of Cakewalk to a device, then you'd select these. But I'm going to keep it simple and only have my MIDI input selected. So now that we've set up our audio device and our MIDI devices, you can click apply and close this. And now we're ready to create a project in Cakewalk.